Hello, and welcome to the talk series through the Women's Resource Center. My name is Joanne Brady, and I'm a professor at SDSU, and I'm also a developmental specialist. I work with families whose infants have special needs from the ages of birth to 3. My passion is happy, healthy children and families. The How to Talk About series aims to give parents tools to have healthy conversations with their children about big topics. For April's edition, I'll be discussing how to talk about big emotions with children. I believe a common goal we have as parents is the emotional health of our children. One of the hardest parts of parenting is tolerating the discomfort of your child. It's hard to watch your child in a heightened emotional state, and can also be frustrating when we can't seem to help calm them down. It heightens our emotional state as well, and this can lead to difficult moments. We need to not take the situation personally, but we know that it is important for children to feel a wide variety of emotions, as it is natural and necessary piece of development. As adults, we know how sometimes we can feel discombobulated when we are experiencing our big emotions or are dealing with a difficult situation. When we are angry, frustrated, or very sad, we can feel out of control. But as adults, our brains have more ability to exercise the left brain or upstairs brain and use our reasoning to help us cope. We must remember that for our little ones, that the brain is still forming, and the piece that helps with impulse control and decision making is immature. So when they are experiencing these same emotions, they can feel much bigger and more overwhelming. Another piece we need to remember is that these emotions are real for our children. They feel them in their body. So even if it doesn't seem like a big deal to us, or we can't understand what they are afraid of or so upset about, it's important to acknowledge the emotions of our children. Validating your child's emotional experience helps them to feel heard, understood, and gives the safety to be able to talk about them when they are able. This is foundational when it comes to helping children learn to deal with their emotions. This is the beginning of making the connection and the first step to helping the children calm so we can move to helping them understand what is happening. We don't want to negate these emotions, but rather name them and help children understand what is happening. What we need to help our children with is to help them find the tools to use to manage these emotions in a safe and healthy way. We want our children to recognize what is happening in their bodies and have techniques that they can use to help themselves. And these techniques can be lifelong because life will continue to throw us curveballs. So the more we are able to understand what our emotional states are and how we can regulate ourselves and calm ourselves, the better off we're going to be. I believe we must begin with emotional literacy. For our littlest ones, we must help name the emotion, as they may not have the words to express what is happening. This also helps them create their own vocabulary, so as they become more verbal, they can then tell us what is happening and what they are feeling. When you see a child who is afraid, frustrated, angry, we need to name it. Daniel Siegel, who is a mindfulness guru and has done a lot of work around the brain and helping regulate for children and families, calls it Name It to Tame It, and helps us understand the upstairs and downstairs brain, which I'll explain in a little bit. For children, we need to find the language that they can understand, and these are ways we can help them know their own bodies. It gives them some ownership around their emotions, and with this help, they can learn the coping techniques. Providing them with the correct tools gives them lifelong ways to understand themselves and their emotions. And you can begin with a simple understanding of the brain with the use of your hand to describe this idea of the upstairs and downstairs brain. So if you see, I have my hand folded over, and if we look at it, this we can consider to be our upstairs brain, or our executive function, or the areas where we have some control and decision making. And if you lift the hand a little, you can see that this part would be what we would call the downstairs brain. These are our primitive reactions, our fright and flight, and things that we do naturally without the control of the brain. So when we have the upstairs brain being able to touch and be close to this downstairs brain, we have some control. And we can talk to our children about what it means when they flip their lid, and that you can see that the upstairs brain no longer is touching the downstairs brain. So we want children to understand that emotions are natural and emotions are good, but we need to know what we can do with these emotions and how we can have some control and some calming techniques when we are in that moment when we feel that our lid is getting ready to flip. And we want to help our children be able to maintain some of these coping mechanisms and control so that they can grow and learn about themselves. So when our children come to us in these heightened states, we want to first acknowledge them by connecting to the right brain or downstairs brain by validating the feeling. I see you are crying. I see you are upset. And this can come with eye contact and closeness. So make sure that you are down at the level of the child, depending upon how big or small they are, so that they can see your face and also feel that this is coming from you in a genuine way. This allows the brain to send calming message and show the child that we are here to connect in a safe space. Then we can move to what we call the redirect, where we may state the feeling in a name it to tame it way and provide the child, depending upon the age, to share with us what is going on or describe in their own words what is happening. If we try to reason with children in this heightened state, we are dealing with that primitive part or downstairs brain, or as some like to call it, the lizard brain. And this won't be very helpful as they are not thinking clearly. Some people call it poking the lizard when you're trying to be reasonable with someone who is in a heightened state of emotion. So it is important for us as parents to be sure we are as calm as we can be and understand that this too shall pass. Children feel from their gut. And if we are all worked up, they will feed on that and they will be unable to calm. So I'm not saying that this is easy because we feel with our children, but in the moments of these big feelings, we need to be the wiser influence and stay in control so they can feel there is a safe place to work this out. Some techniques you can practice in the moment. Calm down first. Sometimes young children can be so upset that they struggle to communicate how they are feeling. And in this situation, focus on the calming down before trying to talk about the problem. Proactively practice taking some deep breaths or creating a safe base where your child can seek comfort and return to that state of calm. This will offer the break that they need, and they will be able to reflect further as they are more calm. And parents, you can use this time to take some deep breaths too. This is a modeling technique. You're showing your children how they can help their bodies calm and get their brain in a better state of understanding so that we can work on the problem. Support challenging feelings in the moment. We've talked about this. When your child has big emotions, you stay as calm as possible and let them know their feelings are okay. Allow them the time and space to calm down, making sure your child is not hurting themselves or others. But you can coach your child through these moments. But remember that during a tantrum, children are struggling to think clearly. So take time afterwards to revisit these moments when everyone is calm. Let's talk about what we can do next time when you know you feel this way. Let's think about what we might be able to do to help us be better in this situation, how we can calm ourselves and our bodies. Ask about feelings and use reflective listening. Help your child better understand what they're feeling by listening for the feelings involved, articulating them specifically, and then asking if you are accurate. You can use children's books or posters or with feeling faces to identify the feelings, especially for your younger children who may not have the words just yet, and they can point or pat and show you the picture of how they are feeling. You seem sad and frustrated after school. Is that right? Before jumping into solving problems for your child to make big feelings go away, we start with the validation, the recognition of the emotion. Listening to and reflecting what your child is experiencing emotionally helps them to feel heard and reminds them that it's okay to feel emotion, and it also starts the process of helping to tolerate the emotion. When your child is in a calm place, brainstorm some ideas that might help your child tolerate these big emotions. Some feelings, some activities they can do that when they're feeling overwhelmed to help them ride out the intensity. Having a plan and a designated space makes it more likely that your child will use these skills in the future. Make the mind-body connection. Though big feelings produce bodily sensations like sweaty palms when you're nervous or a red-hot face when you're angry, children do not understand how their bodies relate to their emotions. So you might say, "I noticed your face was red. Were you feeling angry?" Making this mind-body connection helps deepen your child's self-awareness of their own selves. And again, as I spoke earlier, it's like taking ownership. When you can understand, you can sort of take ownership of your own self and then make the movements to feeling better. Use open-ended questions without an agenda. After you've focused on feelings, you can reflect on the problem, using the following question as a guide to understand the reason behind your child's upset. So as the parent, you might say, "What happened that upset you?" And your child, "Anthony took my pencil and he wouldn't give it back." "So what happened?" "I got mad and told him to give it back, and then the teacher got mad at me for yelling." "Anthony's your friend, right? What can you do or say tomorrow that might make things better?" Challenging to initiate thinking. In most situations, there are several possible solutions. You could ask, "What are some of the things you could do to feel better about Anthony?" We never want our children to feel trapped in a problem, and offer them practice in this brainstorming multiple solutions to their problem, and then we can guide them to the best solution or best idea. And then we can summarize. We articulate back to our child what they plan to do without embellishing or adding our own opinions. "You were upset that Anthony took your pencil, and you decided to bring a new pencil with your name on it and tell Anthony he could keep the one he took." This will help your child solidify her own thinking and reaffirm that you've heard her. Express genuine confidence. We as parents cannot possibly be sure of how things will turn out. However, we can be certain that our children can handle problems in their relationships. Telling them, "Good, go for it," will offer the support that you need. Helps them know that you have their back, and that they are in the future. It will also lead to them coming to you to talk about problems, so we can do a better job in the beginning and helping them in their future. Other ways to help your child. Make talking about emotions part of your daily routine. It's part of our daily lives. Share with your child your own emotions. As I mentioned, children feel through their gut. So if you're having a hard time, express to them what is happening. It keeps them from having to guess or blame themselves, and it gives them an understanding that we all have a varied emotion. Saying you're sorry if you've made a mistake. This can be a valuable learning experience for children to understand. It's okay to make mistakes, and if we do the repair or the apology, we can also see that we can be loved even when we are making our mistakes. So it gives them an understanding of what it means to do the repair, as I said. And so it's important for us. And children won't learn to say they're sorry unless someone teaches them what that means and how that looks. And so by modeling the behavior, they're definitely going to be able to see how it works. Offer options when a child is upset, such as a blanket, a hug, or a quiet place to regroup. Describe what is happening by saying things like, "A quiet place makes it easier to calm down." So children could begin to understand that the strategies that will work for them. Understanding the temperament of your child is very important. Are they slow to warm, very sensitive, easygoing, or very active? Identifying these temperaments can help you also identify emotional and behavioral triggers for your individual child, objects, people, or places that lead to stress or create negative reactions. and then we can seek to minimize them. For example, we can anticipate situations that will be stressful or frustrating for our children and manage the amount of stress or prepare the children for the situation. You may also help children identify and avoid overly stressful situations. This again will help them as they grow to be able to take ownership of their own understandings of their bodies and their emotional states, to be able to enter situations and know what they need to do to be prepared. Be sensitive to your child's fatigue and excitement levels and change the pace of the activity accordingly. Teach emotional intelligence like any other skill. Having this information can help not only in the moment of the big emotion, but also knowing what things that might be more upsetting to your individual child and being able to work around those or prepare for transitions for those. We have to think about it as nurturing to their individual nature. Each child is individual, and their temperament and their nature is individual to them. And if we nurture towards that, we understand that not all children are the same, and we can't fit them all into a box. So we need to understand our child's individual ways so that we can provide the right tools. You can have your child also create a self-soothe kit for themselves. You can include them in the development of the items. Your kit could include things like bubbles, which would help with breathing, cream to rub on them, which helps with the sensory input, a soft animal to snuggle, which also helps with sensory input, a picture of a favorite animal or family member that they can hold close, a favorite book that they can flip through and read, and it could have touch and feel in it, which also reaches those areas of sensory need. Words to keep in mind when we're parenting. Be bigger, stronger, wiser, and kind. Whenever possible, follow your child's need. And whenever necessary, take charge. The process of understanding and coaching with a child can be an authentic way to provide social and emotional skills that can help your child in school and in life. Children can learn ways to calm down and label and express feelings, and they can also gain confidence to solve their problems. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.